Afternoon, sir.
Hi, good afternoon. Thanks, Lokesh. And at the outset, I would like to thank the scientific committee of the AIOS for having given me this opportunity. I would be talking to you on how to manage the suspicious risk and diagnose the pre-perimetric glaucoma. Try to understand that both these conditions are very common if you are practicing glaucoma. One is a non-pathological condition and other is a pathological condition. So we have to differentiate both the conditions because in one condition, you don't have to treat the patient. In another condition, treat the patient, then probably you are doing a negligence. The basis of the disc evaluation and correlating visual field changes. That is a classical definition of glaucoma. But in our practice, every kind of some has large disc, some has a small disc, but most of us has a normal size of the disc. If somebody has a large size disc, then obviously he would be having a large cup, and that would be erroneously diagnosed as a glaucoma. But it's not a glaucoma; it's a disc suspect. And if you have a small disc like this, then obviously, if somebody has a glaucoma, then you have a tendency to miss the glaucoma. Look at these various discs. The central one, obviously, no one would miss it. It is a typical glaucomatous disc. But on the left-hand side, it looks like a glaucoma, but it's not a glaucomatous disc. It's a classical senile sclerotic disc. As all of us knows that almost we loses 10,000 ganglion cells per year. So believe me that at the age of 80 years, we would be losing almost 80% of the ganglion cell. And once you have lost the 80% of the ganglion cell, then the cup will be large and there will be a laminar dot signs and there will be a disc pallor and it would mimic like a glaucomatous disc, but it's not a truly glaucomatous disc. On the other side, you can miss with the congenital changes in the optic disc, the congenital anomalies of the optic disc. Believe me, this patient was operated for glaucoma, presented to me at the age of 8 years, and 3 years before he was operated for glaucoma, but he has a classical coloboma of the disc. So we have to differentiate between the glaucomatous disc and the disc suspect. That is very, very critical. Otherwise, unnecessarily, either we will treat the patient or we will misdiagnose the patient. And there are n number of discs which may mimic like a glaucoma, and it is very, very difficult for all of us to diagnose them whether they have a glaucoma or they do not have a glaucoma. Like this disc, this is a classical myopic tilted disc. Looks like a glaucomatous disc, but this is not a glaucomatous disc. This is a tilted disc. Look on the right upper side. This disc is a classical Marling Flory, but you may misdiagnose as a glaucomatous disc. This is a tilted disc with the inferior conus, and this is a medullated nerve fibers. And because of this medullated nerve fiber, you cannot judge whether this RNFL is a healthy RNFL or not. And the cup looks pretty large, and this medullated nerve fibers is overhanging over the disc. So unnecessarily misinterpreted as a large cup in this patient. So in all this kind of a patient, we have to be careful. So how to diagnose whether these patients have a glaucoma or they don't have a glaucoma? Look at this. This is horizontally oval disc with a large inferior conus. And if you look very carefully, you feel that the inferior rim is lost over here. Then obviously what you would do, you have to alter the perimetry, and if you do the perimetry, you can see that there is a superior arcuate scotoma which is correlating with the visual field with the optical changes. Then obviously you have another imaging devices, the important tool in your armamentarium, and I did the imaging as well. On the OCT, there is a classical defect on the inferior-temporal area. So that correlates with the disc changes. So obviously the disc is looking abnormal, the visual field is abnormal, and the OCT is also abnormal. So does this patient have a glaucoma? No, because I personally see that, this is the classical tilted disc with the inferior conus, and where there is a congenital loss of the inferior nerve fiber layer bundle. So this patient should not necessarily have a glaucoma. So what you have to do for all these patients, you have to do a thorough vertical follow-up. Every year you have to do the perimetry, every 6 months to do the clinical examination and do the perimetry as well. And you can see that, I have done the follow-up of this patient for more than 12 years, and this patient has not progressed at all. So obviously this patient does not have a glaucoma, and it's a congenital anomalous disc where there is inferior conus and inferior loss of the nerve fiber layer bundle. So in the disc suspect, there may be a disc asymmetry. One disc might be little large, one disc might be little small, but you have to be careful. It could be a traumatic glaucoma, and because of that, this might be progressing. Then there is a vertical enlargement of the cup where you have to be very careful because it is one of the risk factor. The family history of glaucoma is also, it's a red flag, and you have to be very careful. In the thinner cornea, Lokesh was telling about that. Yes, you have to be very careful if the patient has a thin cornea and suspicious disc, and if the presenting IOP is very high. And obviously, we have to follow them vertically, and almost 5% of these patients on 5-year follow-up will convert into the glaucoma. Now, the second part is the pre-perimetric glaucoma. What is pre-perimetric glaucoma? Where you can see that there are nerve fiber layer changes in the optic nerve head or in the optic nerve, but visual field is normal. So the white on white perimetry is normal, but you can see over here there is a disc hemorrhage and there is a RNFL defect. And all of us knows that the structural damage precedes the functional damage, and obviously the disc hemorrhage precedes the structural damage as well. So by doing a careful 90 diopter stereoscopic examination, you would be able to pick up this RNFL defect. And once you pick up this defect, and if there is no defect on the nerve fiber layer, then on the white perimeter, then also the patient has a glaucoma. You can look over this. This was little asymmetric disc and was looking to be very suspicious disc. When I did the perimetry, it was normal. When I did the OCT in the left eye, there was some suspicious areas, but obviously it was looking okay. And on the vertical follow-up, at 2 years from now, there is a classical defect of the RNFL. And when I did the perimetry, there was a superior arterioscleroma. So you have to do a good clinical examination, and you have to do a good vertical follow-up, then only you will be able to have the pre-perimetric glaucoma. Look at this one-eyed lady. You can see that there is on the deviation web, there is RNFL defect. And this RNFL defect has progressed over a period of time. So obviously, this one-eyed young lady has a pre-perimetric glaucoma. So this patient needs to be treated. So in crux, in summary, all the disc suspects should be followed up over a period of time, whether they develop the glaucoma or not. And in the pre-perimetric glaucoma, you have to be very careful. So you may do the FDT and the swab, but obviously the FDT and swab is not useful. The good thorough clinical examination, by doing a good thorough clinical examination, you would be able to pick up the pre-perimetric glaucoma, and imaging technology does help many a time. But all these patients require a good vertical follow-up. And once you suspect a pre-perimetric glaucoma, initiate the therapy right away. Thank you very much for your patience here.
Thank you. Thank you.